Hi everyone, welcome to Northern Zen Yoga. My name is Sandra, and today we're going to look at isolating some exercises, particularly for the neck. A lot of times our jobs that we have, they require us to sit in the same position for a long period of time, often with our head tipped forward as we're looking down at a keyboard, or perhaps we're transcribing something, or maybe you don't have a job like that, but you spend a lot of time looking at a tablet or a computer or your phone. The phone is the worst because you've seen people walking around, they've got their head in the tip down position, they've got the phone in their hand, and they are holding the phone and they're typing text messages and scrolling through emails and things of that nature. So the head is always in this pulled down position. And then obviously when you go to lift your head up, your muscles in the back have been stretched for a very long time. And the problem with that is, even though long-term stretching can be very beneficial in some cases, we rarely do anything to do the counter of that, which is to stretch out the front of the neck. And so over the period of many months or years, what happens is we get shortened muscles in the front and we get elongated, overly elongated muscles in the back. And so now your head has not got the proper support it needs. And obviously, when it's not being properly supported, anytime you move it in a direction that is just a little off of your normal position of your head, you take the risk of straining muscles or tearing things. Quite often, as we age, this becomes even more evident because through our lifetime, we've probably whacked and cracked and jilted our head several times. Car accidents happen, falling down, hitting your head on something, even if it didn't create an actual issue at the time. All of these sharp movements to the neck will eventually, over time, start to create some arthritic happening in between the joints of the vertebrae. So when it comes to actually dealing with arthritis, the best rule of thumb, and most doctors and physiotherapists will tell you this, is that you must move it. Because what is happening to it is that the irregularity of the surface of that joint is causing the friction, is causing a little bit of pain. And if you stop moving that joint, eventually what starts to happen is the bone, your bone is always growing, and so your bone is going to start trying to grow into the other bone, trying to fuse itself together. And then the next time you go to move your neck, that all that irregularity is now even more exaggerated, and now you're having even more difficulty and more pain moving. But by constantly moving your body, even through the arthritis, you're kind of wearing down the surface that is becoming irregular, and it actually frees up movement. If you are persistent over time, you can actually reverse what's happening with the arthritis. So, having said all that, most of you, your pain is usually either in rotating your head side to side or moving your head up and down. Very rarely would we do this tipping motion. Our neck is very capable of doing the side to side tip, but we don't often use that. There's not a lot of times, maybe when we duck underneath something, or maybe when you're dancing you might do a little thing, but anyway. So the most times, though, that we're finding we're feeling discomfort in our neck is if we're sitting, perhaps watching TV, or looking at something in the distance where we have to have our head either level or slightly tipped up. Now you're feeling difficulty in the back of the neck because of the fact that these muscles have weakened and they're overextended. So they don't have the ability to really support the back of your neck the way they should. So by doing exercises that make sure that you're not only strengthening, but you're also stretching and keeping the balance between the back and the front of the head in place, you will be able to reduce the discomfort you feel in your neck. And also too, if there is a little bit of arthritis, as I said before, by getting the joint moving, you're going to reduce over time the friction in the surface, and you'll find that the pain will maybe always be discomfort, but it won't be as bad. So what do we do in yoga for this? Well, basically all of yoga has a way of moving all of the muscles of the body in any pose that we go into. But there are a few things that we can do that help to isolate this area of the body. And I'm going to show you a few things that you can do to help you to keep your neck muscles a little bit better toned, to keep them stretched so that they don't get out of balance quite so badly, and your head is equally supported by the front muscles and the back muscles to help reduce the inflammation and the discomfort that you're having currently. So one of the things that you can start to practice is you can practice the 6 directions of the neck. So sit quietly, let your shoulders relax down, make sure you're not tensing up. Tension also is a big culprit in neck and back pain. As we tense up, all of these muscles contract, and then they're filled with a hormone that makes it think like, okay, we're tensing up because we're going to need to move very quickly, very, very soon. You know, it's one of those fight or flight responses. So make sure you relax everything. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose, and if you like, you can breathe out through your mouth and sigh out any tension you're feeling. So taking deep breaths in. When I say a deep breath, allow your belly to expand, dropping your diaphragm down and allowing your lungs to fill up a little more efficiently. So let's inhale and exhale. Push your belly back in. Let your shoulders relax some more. And we're just going to drop our chin down to our chest. And then we're going to inhale, looking up. Exhale, drop the chin down. And if you like, you can even assist your chin if you're feeling a little bit too much stress in the back of the neck by just gently easing it up toward the ceiling. Exhale it down. Inhale up, and you're going to repeat this 4 or 5 times in a row. And now the next time we go up, we're just going to stay up for a couple of breaths. Relax your shoulders down some more. Notice if you're feeling tension here. A lengthening and a tenseness in this area. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, drop your chin to your chest. We're just going to hold it here for a moment. And then we're going to bring our chin up to upright position. And then we're going to just gently rotate the chin over to one side, looking toward the shoulder. Just go as far as comfortable. Now, you may not be able to rotate as far as I can. You might be able to go deeper into that twist, but just make sure you're not actually feeling any pain in your neck. You might feel the muscles stretching and a little tension from that stretch, but if you hit a point where resistance starts to become very evident, you should stop there and take a breath. So we're reaching over toward the shoulder, and then I'm going to take a deep breath in here. And on the exhale, I'm just going to drop my chin down just slightly. And I'm going to inhale, lift my chin up just a little bit higher than level. Exhale, drop my chin down. Notice where you're feeling the stretching. Inhale, and come back to center. Very slowly start to rotate the chin toward the opposite shoulder. Take a deep breath here, in and out. Take an inhale again. On your exhale, drop your chin down toward your chest, staying in the twist. Inhale it up, just above. Notice how this side feels. Does it feel the same or is it a little different? Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale back to center and rotate the chin forward. Take another breath here. I'm going to just relax our right ear over toward the right shoulder. Take another breath here. Make sure this shoulder is not trying to follow it. Try to keep it relaxed and down. Inhale, raise your head back up. Exhale, over to the other side. You can inhale and exhale here. Your next inhale, inhale up. Exhale, drop it over to the right again. Take a breath here. Inhale, lift your head up straight, and on the exhale, drop your ear toward your shoulder again. These do not have to be big movements, just little movements. As long as you're feeling tension and stretching, you're doing it. Inhale back up again. We're going to drop our chin down to our chest, and we're going to inhale as we roll our head over to and drop our ear toward the right, and then exhale, rolling our head forward and then over to the left. Inhale, exhale, roll your chin down your chest, roll it over to the other side. Inhale, exhale, roll your chin down across your chest, and then relax here. Take another breath. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, roll your head back and over. Inhale again. Going back the opposite direction, roll your head back, cross, and over to the other shoulder. Another inhale. On the exhale, we roll the head back, and across and over to the right shoulder. One more time, inhale. And on the exhale, roll your head back, cross, and over to the left. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, just roll your head down to your chin towards your chest, centered, and then gently lift your head up, upright. So now we're going to do a similar set of exercises, but with a little bit of resistance added in. So we're going to inhale. We're going to raise our right arm up, and we're going to relax it over top of our head, and we're just going to relax our hand onto our head close to our ear, or as close as you can get to your ear. If you have the ability to reach over and put your hand on your ear, good for you. And we're going to gently let the weight of our arm just stretch the neck here. So we're not pulling anything. Don't think you have to like pull down on your neck. It's just the weight of your hand and your arm. And then we're going to take the opposite hand and arm, and we're going to reach it out to the side. And we're going to reach with our fingers. If you can reach the floor, see if you can walk your fingers just enough and far enough away that you feel a stretch right up the arm, up to your ear. Take a few breaths here. We're going to drop our chin toward our chest and just relax our hand on the back of our head. And the same thing, we're just letting the weight of our arm pull our chin down. And we're going to move our hand back behind us more and reach back. Keep walking that hand away from you and behind you until you feel a nice stretch in a different place. And sometimes if your neck is very tight, it won't take much to feel the stretch. If your head is much more relaxed, you probably have to work just a little harder at stretching that arm out to get and bringing your chin down a little closer to your chest to get a good stretch. And then gently release, let your head come up. We're going to switch sides. So this time we're putting the hand on the opposite side of our head, just letting the arm get heavy, just enough to start to feel a little bit of tension building from your shoulder to your ear, and then you're going to start walking your fingers away from you. And just let this arm get heavy. Don't literally pull down, but just don't otherwise hold it up. Walk your fingers away, you'll feel the stretch. Now you notice that the stretch we're feeling in this particular stretching is starting right at our shoulder. So we're working the supporting muscles that come from the shoulder area up the sides of our neck. And then we're just going to drop our chin down, reposition our hand more toward the back of our head. Let our head get, and our hand and our elbow and everything get very heavy. Start pulling the chin down toward the chest. And then we're going to move the hand back behind us and start walking our finger away or reaching for the other side, the other wall. And just let the stretch happen. Just breathe through it. Couple more breaths here. And release. This time we're going to lace our fingers together. We're going to bring our hand behind our head so that our palms, the heel of our palms are close to our ears. Fingers are just laced, bringing elbows together. We're going to let all of this get very heavy and pull our chin down into our chest. Breathe. Remember, you're not pulling your head down, you're just letting your arm weight just go so that the weight of your arms and your hands on the back of your head is just gently stretching. Notice where you're feeling the stretch this time. It's going down probably about down a few vertebrae anyway, down your back. Around your shoulder blades. And then release. Gently bring your fingers underneath your chin, and we're going to push, 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 push. This time we're just going to try to push our chin up till we feel a stretch. The stretch will be right up in here. And we're going to keep our chin pointing up as high as it will go. Breathing. Always remember, throughout yoga, you're always breathing nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And gently release. So those exercises, you can do those anytime. You can do them first thing in the morning if you're feeling a little snugness in your neck when you first wake up. You can do them at the end of the day after working. Whatever you like to do, you can do those at any time. Those are stress relieving stretches. Now you can also start to work on an area in your back which is kind of a big diamond shape, and it goes right from the base of your skull it goes out around your shoulder blades or your scapula, and then it comes back in and it runs down several vertebrae down the middle of your back to maybe, I don't think it goes quite halfway down your rib cage, but it goes several ribs down. So this area is called the trapezoid muscle. It's a kind of a diamond shaped muscle, and it has a lot of supporting power. It's probably one of the muscles that gives us the most problem when it starts to weaken. And the thing that weakens it the most is the head forward drop. So, and also the rounded shoulders happening where you're sitting and like this, where your head is down, your shoulders are forward, and all of that is weakened by the constant stretch on it, and also the contraction of the chest muscles, which start to shorten. And then even if you're standing and you're not in that position, everything is kind of collapsing forward. So that's a lot of stress on that muscle. And quite often people have injured that muscle by having small tears in it, by trying to suddenly move, and that muscle has to come into action, or maybe by lifting something. So we like to keep these muscles nice and straightened, and one of the ways we do is by making sure the chest muscles are also stretched and strengthened. So one thing you can do is you can use a strap for this if you cannot reach back and grab your hands. So if you don't have a strap, this is a yoga strap. It looks like a big belt, but it's very, very long. They usually come, they're about anywhere from 4 to 6 feet long. And what you can do with this is that you just put it behind you and you grab onto it and you start working your hands toward the center, so that the goal is, if you can't quite bring your hands together, over time you'll start to work on bringing them closer and closer until you can finally touch down with each finger, grab your fingers, and then once you can touch fingers, then you can start to work on clasping the hand a little more, and then you can work on maybe grabbing the wrists, and then work on grabbing up to the elbow area here. So let's see if I can show you. And by doing this, every time you're working on this particular stretch, you are helping to stretch out and strengthen the muscles in the upper chest. These muscles come up and they're part of the shoulder support system. So I'm going to tell you all of the technical names to it. You probably, like me, you wouldn't remember it 2 minutes from now. Anyway, even if I had them all listed here and I ran them off for you, just know, and you know that they're there, that these muscles that are coming up your chest, that are coming over to your shoulders, are very, very critical in helping you do arm movements and lifting. When they get weakened, we injure them. So if you're sitting very comfortably and you've got your strap and you're working on just doing this, just make sure you get to a point where you can feel your chest stretching. When I first began yoga, I was very much curled forward. I even had the little hump in my back starting to form from my head thrust being down, and my shoulders were like this, and when I sat like this. So what I needed to work on for a long time was just getting these muscles stretched out so that the back muscles weren't being overstretched constantly and causing pain. So work on that. No matter where you begin, no matter how far apart your hands are, you're just going to inch your fingers toward each other until you feel like you've got enough stretch going on. Maybe if you go any further than that, it's going to be not comfortable, but painful. So once you get to the point where you can actually touch hands together, then the next part of this is for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to grab your hands, grab your wrists, and you're going to start to lift your arms up away from you toward the ceiling. So if I turn sideways, and again, it doesn't have to be very much, but what you need to focus on when you do this is that you roll the shoulders back in order to keep the chest stretched. Don't be doing one of these things where you're allowing your shoulders to curl forward. You want to keep upright, you want to keep the chest open, and you want to start to squeeze the shoulder blades more toward each other. So the shoulder blades, the scapula, are these nice big bones that are covered in all kinds of lovely muscle to help us. It's part of our back support, it's part of our protection for our spine, and we need to be able to move that freely to be able to get the best benefit and the least amount of injury to the body when we try to lift things and move things and turn our head, turn our neck, and twist in different directions. So keeping that supple, keeping that stretched, and keeping the equivalency between the front stretch and the back stretch in unison with each other is very critical. So if you're reaching back and you can grab your hands, you can either work on grabbing toward your wrists as you lift up, or you might want to work on what they call a forearm grip, where you've got your hands gripping your forearm, and then you can also lift the arms up off the back and feel the stretch. This is a very good stretch for the shoulder muscles as well as for the chest. So the other thing you want to do is you want to be able to move the scapula freely from the center of your back toward the edge of your rib cage, which is this movement. So here, again, you can use a strap. If you can't quite work it yourself, you can bring the strap across to help you. You just do never ever ever put anything onto the elbow joint. It's either going to be on the forearm or it's going to be on your bicep muscle, and pull the arm across the body. Breathe, count to 5, count to 10, however long you feel you can hold it, and then you're going to relax it back again, and then switch sides. Once it starts to feel much more flexible for you, you can start to work on something called eagle arms, where you link the elbows one on top of the other and then rotate the palms so that you can bring the hands in line. And then once you are able to achieve this, then we start to try to lift the elbows up a little bit higher. This is a lot of stretch into the shoulder joint. So don't go for this one. Go for that one first until you can get your elbow at least halfway or more across your chest before you start to work on the eagle arms. And this is the opposite direction. Believe me, one way is always easier than the other way. I have no idea why. It just is. It's just the way your body is designed. Maybe it's the way you've abused one side more than the other. Who knows? But I always have, this is very easy for me to do on this side. I can go very high. The other side, not so much. So respect that about your body as well. One side, you might be able to feel a lot less tension than the other side, even if it's something as simple as tipping your head from side to side or rotating your chin. Stop where you should feel the stretch, but no pain. That's where you want to stop. So, we've squeezed our shoulders back, we've squeezed our shoulders forward, we've done the rotations of the neck, and you know what, just for me, just doing these exercises for you to show you what to do, right now my neck is feeling really good. Feels very relaxed, my shoulders feel relaxed, my back feels relaxed. I must have had a little tension in there before I started. So keep these things in mind, very simple. There's not a whole lot that you can do here that requires you to have any special equipment. But I do recommend one thing. If you do have back pain and you do have neck pain, that you consider taking yin yoga classes. In a yin yoga class, particularly the ones that I teach, one class I may focus on the back and the neck and the shoulders to stretch these. These are postures we hold for approximately anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minutes. Keep in mind that they're all seated, they're all relaxed, and they're all very doable. The other time that I have a yin class, we might be working on the lower part, on the hips and the pelvis. So think about investing into a yin yoga class. If you've looked at my yin yoga classes and you're not that interested in mine, there may be a lot of other teachers out there that you might feel more connected to. That's fine. It's all about you getting yourself moving forward, getting freedom of movement, especially as we start to get older. Well, the last thing you want to do is to have to stay home and stay restricted and not be able to do things because your body is in so much pain. And even though you may not ever be out of pain, yoga will help you to reduce your pain so that you can tolerate life again and move freely. The freer you move, the less pain you feel. So think about the neck, take care of it. It's holding a really important payload. I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thanks for coming. Namaste.